back one time for your mind. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the bell button, hit the subscribe. I mean, hit the hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you guys get the live streams when they come through. Welcome to the OBF family channel. People have problems with uh my old stream shit, and so I'm trying to get that fixed up. So I just came to something different. Ain't going to be the whole big intro like we normally would do, but we here, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's get down to some business. Let's talk about some things. Um, and make sure you guys subscribe to the OBF family channel. People still on OBF the family. Make sure you guys donate to the channel. Go to OBF the real Cash App and donate to the channel. People, we highly appreciate it. Um, yeah, people. I don't even really like this is okay. This the streaming system is all right, but it's not none of my old shit. I don't have none of my backup data to download to this, so intros are really not the same. So we're just gonna do something a little different here, people. Um, yeah, guess we do a little something different, people. Let's get this thing started, people. I don't like this setup. All right, we here, people. See what I'm saying? Don't like the it's slow, and I don't like it. I don't have none of my shit that I got uh updated in my other stream shit that I stream off of. I don't have none of that updated to this, so it is what it is, people. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Anyway, let's get down to business, people. Listen, um, we have Dana White here. He does an interview. Well, I guess a press conference. I guess the UFC has a fight coming up. And steady them suspending this motherfucker. They allow Dana White to come out, do a nonchalant, fake ass apology. Not even an apology. It's just straight white privilege. It's on display. This is. Let me just explain to everybody. This is a problem of when a racist white man that has power, right? And even have power in a way like financially and just fame or whatever. This is just the display of how white racist people are. This is how they act. Even when they fuck up and do bad, they don't think that they don't think that uh uh consequences um they don't deserve consequences. They get to make up their own rules. They don't have morals and standards, so they can judge and prejudge and say whatever they say about other people and wanna bring repercussions to others, but they don't want to take responsibility and have repercussions happen to them because of their white privilege. This is white privilege on display for your ass, my people. Okay, let me go to the chat. I don't know if anybody in the chat. This chat is just different. I don't like the chat, nigga. Anyway, um, this is just a prime example of it. Okay, people. This is why it was very disappointing to me and disturbing to me when you have somebody black like Stephen A. Smith on a platform giving this type of racist a pass. This is when you're supposed to ridicule these type of people like Dana White. This is the prime example of it. And if you do not hold these type of people accountable for their actions, then what are we talking about here? Then you're just telling black people, yeah, what we already know is white privilege. We're just telling black people to their face, I ain't shit about it. I'm gonna allow them to shit. Y'all leave some chats up on the screen. This is one thing I do like about this. Actually, believe it or not. Hold on. This is one thing I do actually like about this thing. I may do this. I may spend some money and maybe upgrade this because I like this a little better because it got its own shit with it. But yeah, y'all leave comments. The shit can just stroll through the stream if y'all leave comments. Once people start leaving comments, I'll let it be on the screen with me. But anyway, this is the prime example of it. This is the problem I had with Stephen A. Smith. Not holding this guy accountable, not doing his due diligence as a black person on TV. So this is a prime example. Listen, and I ain't gonna lie to you. When I heard this, it angered me because I just have in my mind, it keep running through my mind of how Stephen A. Smith allowed this dude to make excuses for him because he's a friend and I love him. And I love the guy, and I prayers to his family. This is what happened when you allow people to get away with certain shit. Shout out to my brother True Southern. That's what that did. Hold on. New comments will here. Okay. Well, I need to come. I'm gonna see what it does. And then it is what it is. To my brother True from New York. What up, bro? Listen, let's just go ahead and get into it, people. Let's hear this nonsense shit. This angered me.
What's up, gang? How are you? Happy here? So I just wanted to come out today and talk to you guys on this media day with the athletes that, you know, the focus is on them. These guys have trained hard and got ready for this fight. What happened on New Year's Eve is my mistake, not theirs. And obviously, nobody's more about free speech than me. If one of the fighters wants to come out and voice their opinion on it and whatever it might be, then.
If this don't sound like a version of Donald Trump, listen, can I just say this on Real Talk? This has nothing to do with free speech. If you try to ridicule or give people consequences for speaking on your bad behavior, and you did something about it, try to discipline them, then you'll be under more fire. So this ain't about free speech, bro. We don't give a fuck about that. You know what we care about? Consequences. And we see that you and your white privilege don't give a damn about give a damn about consequences or taking self-responsibility for your actions. And accepting consequences and saying, you know what, I need consequences. I have to lead as an example. But he can't do that because he's a fucking racist. And I keep telling y'all about these racist ass white people. Listen, when you align, when you are so-called friends with a racist or somebody that says something racist, you're a fucking racist too. You're okay with racism. So we're not playing these games today. I'm sick of people doing that shit. This ain't about free speech, you old goofy racist son of a bitch. This is about you put your hands on your wife, and then you got a nerve to get up here and start out playing and joking and shit. Got a little racist grin on your face, and then sit out here and talk about free speech and all this other goofy shit that you're talking about. This has nothing to do with what you're talking. Listen, man, let's just move on. For I'm already kind of on edge. But before I even jump off the deep end, I gotta let y'all hear some of this bullshit.
Then by all means, I'm sure you guys have seen the TMZ video, seen my interview. It was obviously a horrible personal experience, and you know, there's no excuse for it that I'm gonna have to deal with and live with for the rest of my life. And one thing that I do want to clarify in this thing, that
and what you ain't gonna hear is, even if you ain't get yourself consequences, right? You ain't hold yourself accountable to a certain extent, right? You could at least said, hey, you know what? You know, this is bad experience, blah, blah, blah. Me and my wife, we going to counseling because it's got to be something wrong for us to be acting this way. Or me, I ain't even going to put this on my wife, for me to be acting this way in public or during this period. Something's wrong. So I need to go to counseling. It's none of that. It's just, oh, I got to deal with this the rest of my day. Listen, bro, listen. I'm just trying to tell y'all, man, white privilege is on display right here for you. This is the most despicable shit I ever heard.
this thing that I didn't talk about on TMZ because I didn't expect it and I didn't see it coming is the people that are defending me. You know, there's
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you did. Yeah, yes, you did. Dana White, listen, you's a fucking liar. Yes, you did. Because you do business with ESPN and ESPN. And the people that's supposed to be your friends, people that love you, Stephen A. Smith, the goofies. You knew they was going to do that because you know why? Because you talked to him. He going to say, I didn't expect people to defend me. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Listen. You know what's sad? When we deal with people that don't, this is what I told you. That's why I don't be around people like this no more. And this is why I don't fuck with people like that, a lot of people like that. And this is why people off. Listen, let me just explain something to you. When people do this type of shit and don't take no type of responsibility for their actions, right? It makes people like me that hold myself to a certain standards and walk it and talk it and believe in what the fuck I say I stand for, right? It makes me question, why am I standing for, standing on morals and all these things that I stand for? Why am I doing that when it's people out here getting away with it? It's like a person that never committed a crime, and they see motherfuckers out here just committing crimes, and then you see nothing, and then they go through the justice system. You see nothing happen to them. That makes you just be, especially if you're young, it makes you be like, okay, well, shit, if he can get away with it, I'll get away with it. Why am I sitting here trying to be Mr. Goody Two Shoes? For what? I might as well just go out here and do what Dana White did. And I get away with it, and I have people to back me and give me passes for bad behavior. I don't have to take self-responsibility for my actions. All I got to do is sit up there and pretend that I'm ashamed, but I'm really not. But at the same time, blame everybody else and play victim and act like, oh, it's really not my fault. It was a lot of alcohol. Nigga, listen. All alcohol do a lot of the times, people, is actually bring out your true feelings. or whatever the fuck you may be feeling. You may be in a violent mood. You may be just, your mood is just whatever your mood is. And you throw alcohol on top of that, and then y'all saying shit. Some people can handle that alcohol, some can't. Even if you can handle your alcohol, sometimes you can go, if you in some type of mood, alcohol can trigger that mood. And then all somebody got to do is say something real up, and then you off the deep end. And let me just say this. Even if he says, even if he doesn't remember all of what happened, there was so much stuff that happened that night. It's the video all day. You never watched the video? He said he sat down and talked to his kids about the video. Ain't nothing clicked or what the fuck happened. Listen, let's move on, man. I've been fucked up before, where I didn't remember shit that happened the night before. But let me tell you something. When I woke up the next day, a lot of the times, I look at my wife like, I did some fuck shit, didn't I? Because anytime I go to sleep and I wake up from being fucked up like that, and I wake up and I don't remember nothing, I think I did. In my mind, I know I did something wrong. I did some fuck shit. I know I did. Because I know me. No self-responsibility, people. People don't, and I'm gonna say this from now on. I don't want to hear a Dana White or any people like Smith. Why are y'all judging anybody else when you don't? You won't even check the motherfuckers that do shit wrong. You won't even take self-responsibility for what the fuck you do, but you want to all of a sudden everybody want to have an opinion on somebody else behavior or things that they have did that's wrong. Everybody got a motherfucking opinion, but when motherfuckers actually do something wrong, nobody really standing on nothing. Listen, it's one thing. Listen, I will never watch the UFC again until Dana White is gone. I'm putting that out there. You want to talk about cancel culture, nigga? That's what it is. Nobody should be watching the UFC for nothing. If he don't want to take responsibility, well, we don't have to buy his product. Let's get him the fuck up out of here. Because every time I see the UFC fighters, I see a UFC fighter, sorry to y'all, I see Dana White. And I can't get that out of my head. I just remember him smacking the shit out of his wife. That's all I see when I see y'all. That's why I don't watch the NFL. You should be boycotting the fucking UFC. And then think about it, in real talk, black people don't really fuck with the UFC like that anyway, so that ain't our shit anyway. That's white people shit. That's on real. I ain't saying we don't watch it, but it ain't a big audience of ours, of people that watch that shit. The fuck out of here. You don't want to take responsibility. We should be boycotting. We should make sure he's getting rid of it. We should be, it should be protesters out this bitch. This dude smacked the guy and he act like he is no consequences for him. He don't, listen, let's move on, man. Let's move on, man.
There's never an excuse. I'm sure you guys have read some of the stuff that I've seen. There's no defense for this, and people should not be defending me over this thing, no matter what. All the criticism that I have received.
How are you gonna get mad at people for defending you when you don't take self-responsibility for what you do? This is what I mean by judging others. How are you gonna judge them? They shouldn't be doing it. Don't tell them what the fuck they should be doing when you don't take self-responsibility for what the fuck you do. What are we talking about here? Why is this dude on TV, on the platform of the UFC press conference before the fight's happening for these young brothers or whatever, and he's out there talking this bullshit? Why ain't nobody is in the uproar about this bitch-ass racist? We should be, listen, nobody should be watching ESPN either. I don't give a fuck how many basketball games over there, nigga. He got to go. Listen, but you know what? People don't have the same moral standards that I have. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Received this week is 100% warranted and will receive in the future. So, and you know me better than anybody. If, you know, especially the people that I don't like start coming after me, nobody fires back more than I do. Whatever anybody has to say, everybody has an opinion on this, and they're right to have their own opinions. I was very opinionated on this too, and I still am. You know, it's crazy.
First of all, how you gonna be opinionated on domestic violence when you don't listen? If you are a person that committed domestic violence, admitted it what you did, took self-responsibility, got some fucking help at least. If you haven't did none of these things, but one thing, but say, oh, it's a bad thing, I shouldn't have did it, means nothing. Means nothing. So you don't get to come out here, and if anybody else commit domestic violence, Dana White don't have a say. Fuck him. And if I'm anybody in the UFC as a fighter, and I commit domestic violence, and motherfucking Dana White come down talking about I'm going to suspend it, I'm suing that bitch. That's how you got to do this pussy ass motherfucking racist. What the fuck he talking about? And I still have an opinion. You shouldn't have a fucking opinion at all, bitch. The fuck you gonna have any opinion or try to discipline anybody else in the UFC when you ain't even holding yourself to the same standards? How the fuck can you do that? White privilege. This is the definition of this shit. The prime example of it. You want to hold everybody else accountable, but you don't want to hold yourself accountable. I'm going to live with this through the rest of my life. Who cares, motherfucker? Listen, listen. If I was just as angry and as disturbed of a human being as Dana White, I could say some real harsh shit that I shouldn't say. But I'm better than him. I'm better than this piece of shit. So I ain't even gonna stoop down to his level to say some real shit that I really want to say. But you know, I'm better than him. I hold that in. I keep that in here.
Crazy that I'm sitting here even having this conversation with you guys, but yeah. So my reason for being here today is I just wanted you guys to focus on them and not me.
Yo, I swear to God, yo, in America, yo, we got the dumbest people in the world, man. It's a lot of stupid people in this country. It's a lot of stupid people. And a lot of times it ain't even really stupid shit. They ain't not really that stupid. They think we stupid. Let's listen to it again, people. Catch what he said, and if you can't catch what he said, I'll break it down to you.
Opinionated on this too, and I still am. You know, it's crazy that I'm sitting here even having this conversation with you guys, but yeah. So my
that's the first thing I caught. The first thing I caught was he said, "It's crazy that I'm sitting here and I'm having this conversation with you. Nobody's asking you to. You're deciding to go out there and have this discussion." That's number one. Nobody asked Dana White to go out there. Let's move on.
My reason for being here today is I just wanted you guys to focus on them and not me. And
he said his whole reason for coming out today was to focus on them, the fighters, other than him. I mean, what we doing here, man? What we doing here? To one of the greatest rappers, Jadakiss, what we doing here? I mean, what we doing here? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yo, if you don't want the focus to be on you, and you wanted to be the fighters, well, why are you the first person that gets up and starts speaking about shit that you ain't gonna take responsibility for doing? These are the days that where I understand why some black people, you heard some black people hate white people. Real talk. Let me just explain something to you. This couldn't have been a black president that got up there and said this shit. They'd have roasted this motherfucker. First of all, the black community would have came after him and made sure we shamed this bitch. We probably have ran his ass out the UFC. I'm trying to figure out where the white people at. Why don't see a whole bunch of white people boycotting this shit? Listen, white people, boycott the UFC. If you good white folks, you think domestic violence is bad, boycott it. Where's the feminists? Where they at? Where the gay community at? Where y'all at? The alphabets. Where y'all at? Where the fuck are y'all at? You allowed this racist piece of shit to get up here and say this bullshit? Oh. But it gets worse.
Any questions?
I was going to ask you, taking questions. I guess the big question that everybody wants to know, I mean, like you said, no excuses, full apologies, and I like your statement there that it shouldn't be defended at all, but are there going to be any repercussions? People are saying, he's a big public figure, he's big, charged this big company, nobody's really talking about it. Are there any repercussions for the company or self-imposed repercussions?
Yeah, well, I mean, what should the repercussions be? You tell me. I take 30 days off. How does that hurt me? I mean, I told you guys.
If this ain't white privilege for your ass, motherfucker say, I take time. Oh, he looking at it as he looking at it as that's my vacuum cleaner. He said, with 30 days, you should be fired. Because you bigger than the fighters. So you should be fired. Listen, first of all, if it was me, I'd have said, you know what? Fuck a 30 days for me. Cause I'm the biggest person. I'm the biggest person sitting out here. Men shouldn't be hands on women. I'm always saying it. I'm always ridiculing, and I did it. And I mistake of doing it. And you know what? I'm gonna be on UFC for 2 years. At least, like, give us something like that. He said 30 days. Listen to me, bruh. This is why I told y'all, it's no policy that they have on domestic violence in the UFC, people. None. None at all. None at all. This is why, listen, man, this motherfucker, man, listen, the worst they can do to somebody sometimes is to spit. I spit in Dana White face for just sitting here being as arrogant as he is about this situation. You're supposed to be some type of role model, not even just for your kids, for other children, other young folks coming up. And you're sitting here talking about, well, what if a young person get your position and say the same shit? You'll ridicule them, when you say about them, you'll do them. Listen, the next time a fighter has some domestic violence issues, this is what you should say. Because Dana White said it. But the crazy part about it, I'm not even that shocked about it. I'm disappointed, but I'm not that shocked about it because the simple fact, he's a racist. A racist doesn't have any shame. Let's move on.
And I told you guys we were going through COVID. COVID could last 10 years. I could set it out and, you know what I mean?
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Charge this big company. Nobody's really talking about it. Are there any repercussions planned from the company or self-imposed repercussions?
Yeah, well, I mean, what should the repercussions be? You tell me. I take 30 days off. How does that hurt me? I mean, I told you guys when we were going through COVID. COVID could last 10 years. I could set it out and, you know what I mean? What would be the problem? It's much like COVID, actually. Me leaving hurts the company, hurts my employees, hurts the fight.
I'm damn near speechless, people. Listen, man. Listen, if nobody is and sees what he that is totally ridiculous, totally offensive, totally disrespectful. People died, man. People died from COVID, you son of a. People get sick. People still are sick. People still in the hospital. What the fuck are you talking about? This like COVID. It's not like COVID, bitch. No COVID. Nobody wants to get COVID. Nobody wants to die from COVID. You simple, stupid motherfucker. No, it's like COVID. What? You chose to do what you did. And the difference is you have a choice. People get COVID a lot of times, don't have a choice. Now people listen, I don't even want to get into the COVID, but listen, man, this is the most despicable shit that I have ever heard in a long time. You comparing COVID to you taking for your punishment of something you did? How's that the same? How that even make any sense? I'm sorry. Let him explain what it is. Let me go back just a little bit.
It's much like COVID, actually. Me leaving hurts the company, hurts my employees, hurts the fighters. Doesn't hurt me. I could have left in two.
No, it don't. No, it don't. If you leave today tomorrow, Dana White, this is that white privilege shit. This motherfucker think that he's bigger than the sport. And if I'm an athlete in the UFC and this motherfucker is sitting here trying to act like he's bigger than me, I'm putting my life on the line out this bitch. And I'm getting hit and punched. Dana White ain't doing that. He's making money off of these people. I'm big. It hurts the fighters. It hurts the business. No, it wouldn't. They can find another face to put in there if you gone, you son of a bitch. Excuse me. What are we talking about here, man? This man is despicable. I think my daughter just got home. Hold on. I hear the dog about. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's all. Sad. This is sad. This is some despicable shit right here. And I'm trying to figure out how can you be friends with somebody this? How can you love something like this that says shit like this? This shit doesn't even make any sense. It's offensive to others. Listen, people, when I tell you that I intentionally try to offend people, I do. I stand on it. But when I say I ain't trying to offend somebody, I'm really trying not to, of the shit that comes out of my mouth. I even try to not to be as harsh as I be. But I mean what I say, but I try not to be as harsh. I try to get it into a restrictive where it doesn't offend people. But at least I can admit if I'm saying that maybe will offend people. This I say, well, you know what? This may have. This motherfucker sitting here, he just saying shit to offend people. Listen, regardless of what you think about COVID, if you think this shit is fake or whatever, however you may think about it, it ain't real, whatever. I believe that COVID is real. I lost the on this. So for people like him to get out here and downplay COVID and shit like that is insulting to me. It's offensive. Where I couldn't go to the hospital and say goodbye. And you still can't when somebody got COVID. You can't go to the hospital and tell your family members, you know, like if your family member's sick with cancer or something like that, you can go there and talk to them for the last time. You can't do that no more with COVID. You can't do that with COVID. So once your family go in that hospital, ain't no way you can go talk to them unless you're doing some video shit. Half of the time they so sick, they can't even do that. You're just watching the screen, watching them die. And this motherfucker's out here comparing what he did, a choice that he made to abuse his wife, like far as a punishment. It's like COVID. Oh, and they still allow this dude to be out here. Let's move on, man.
Left in 2016. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do I need to reflect? No, I don't need to reflect. The next morning when I woke up, you know what I mean? I've been against, I own this. I'm telling you that I'm wrong.
He said that he doesn't need to reflect on this. He woke up and that was enough for him. Listen, let me explain something to you people. That's why I keep telling y'all. When somebody says something racist, this is how you know a racist when they talk. Right? Because he sounds like a racist. When a racist call a person a nigger, and then the consequences come, right? Then they wake up the next day and they be like, damn, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that shit in public like that, right? All shit runs through your head. Then you go out there and then you do all this, you talking about in a day or two or some whatever it may take, and you be like, damn, I'm not a racist. I don't say this to people like that, but I did say it. So I was wrong for it, but that doesn't make me a racist. Yeah, it do. You say what you feel. Especially if you grown. We're not about young folks. I'm not giving folks, but when you say shit. Listen, nobody's perfect, but goddamn it, when you up in your 30s and up, when you up in you know exactly what you're doing. For men, your brain is fully developed by that. Women, their shit is brains are fully developed at 25, 26, right? Listen, you don't get to sit here and act like, oh, I did what I did and I don't need to reflect out and no consequences need to happen because I know it's so wrong. who are you to make that decision sometimes? Because you obviously you got a fucking problem. For you to smack the shit out your wife the way you did, and listen, and this wife probably weigh about 140, 20 pounds or something. She's a little woman. Listen, it might have stung because it caught you off guard, but anybody smack you a lot of times, it's gonna sting you. This woman is little. Dana White like 200 something pounds. Listen, bro, come on, man. After she smacked you, you had to smack her back. You could have just grabbed her. Hey, what the fuck is you doing? Whoa, what the fuck is wrong with you? Hey. And I know a lot of times people, it's three reactions you have. One is somebody hit you, you smack their ass back. The second is if you like that, you almost do it, right? The third is you grab that person. What the fuck are you doing? You put your hands on, like they are the reactions. Regardless if you're drunk or not, I don't give a fuck. You just don't let people hit you, man. And then he's sitting here and he's acting like, I mean, what do y'all want me to do? Y'all just want me to go away like COVID? You know, it's like COVID. All of it. It's like kind of like COVID. I can hurt the sport. You think you're bigger than the UFC? And if I'm the UFC owners, I'm ESPN, I'm letting him, you ain't bigger than the sport. You ain't out there putting your life on the line. All you do is get behind the microphone and talk shit. I can bring anybody else in there to do what Dana White does. Dana White ain't that fucking intelligent. He may be a good businessman, but find somebody that's a good businessman and very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Very creative, very animated. You can find somebody like that. There's plenty of people like that. And actually know the sport. Let's move on, man.
I'm wrong. And but listen, I mean, we've had plenty of discussions with Ari, ESPN. Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy about this, you know. Neither am I. But it happened, and I have to deal with it. And what is my punishment? Here's my punishment. I got to walk around for however long I live. Is it 10.4 years or is it another 25 years? And I gotta. This is how I'm labeled now. My other punishment is that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, whether it be media, fighters, friends, acquaintances, who had respect for me might not have respect for me now. I mean, there's a lot of things that
people, that's all bullshit. He's basically saying, oh, you know, people may not look at me the same. I don't give a fuck. Listen. Listen, I have this soul searching and shit like that, or how I act now. And I'm very I'm a little different than I used to be. I don't have as many friends as I used to be, and a lot of it ain't because of me. It ain't because I made that decision. It's because people made that decision. Sometimes you just don't connect. You're not on the same level. It happens. Or decisions I make, or how I am. Maybe it's a turn off for some people, and that's fine. That's okay with me. I did. Listen. He's basically saying, hey, you know, my consequences, people gonna look at me different. So, you still gonna make money, you still gonna be on TV, and I'm gonna tell you something about certain people. A lot of people, in general, they forget about certain shit. We in a fast culture. This ain't no shit that people like marinate in of behavior and shit that goes on. That's why, like, people try to blame it just on the internet. It's not just the internet. It's everyday lives. People just move on to the next shit because they like, we ain't got time to be sitting there dawning on that. We just in these times right now. And so people, that's why myself, I do this show. I don't want people to forget about these horrible, despicable people. That's why I said what I said about the chick from Diamond and Silk, you know, the little black sellout bitches, the one that died and passed away. Listen, I didn't wish no death on her, and I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna like continue to talk about her about why she's dead. But at the same time, I don't want people to sit here and act like she was a good person. She was not. She was a horrible person. And nobody should be praising her, but the people that she set out there and defend was white supremacy. That's understandable to me. But as black people, and as black people from the black community that's about my people, real black people, we shouldn't be out here giving her no props about nothing. Listen, people, you listen. In the beginning of your life, you can do fuck shit. You can do some good shit, right? But it's how you living and when you die. What did you do to the period up to when you was to your death and when you died? What did you do? What was you on? You was on some fuck shit? I mean, what? Your good gotta outweigh your bad. I'm not gonna sit here because this woman wasn't this horrible person probably for maybe a couple of years or something, maybe, right? Or a couple of decades, we don't know, right? Maybe a decade or two. But in the last almost decade, she was a horrible person. And we're not gonna sit here. She brought more harm than she brought good. Listen, people, that's like a motherfucker you know, right? And you say, you know, he was a good guy. I ain't never had no problem with him. And he went out, he did what? He murdered somebody? He raped somebody? Or you got a white friend, and your white friend always been good to you. Jai was a cool dude. He was always good to me. Find out he a racist. Come on, bro. We not playing these stupid ass games, man. So this whole notion he's sitting around talking about, I gotta live with this for the rest of my life. First of all, you got white privilege in this world. In the world, we're gonna put it that way. But in this country, we definitely know you got white privilege. Ain't nobody gonna be talking about Dana White next month. How much y'all want? You know why? Because the attention spans of people gonna move on to the next big thing. That's all it's about. And so, for Dana White to be sitting here and trying to pretend that that his consequences is that people gonna look at him different. He don't give a fuck. Remember, he said he don't care what people think about him. So how is that a consequence for you when you don't care about what people think about you? But I told you that's a lie too, because he cares what people think about him. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't give a fuck how his kids thought about him. But I don't really think he cares about his kids because he's a fucking racist. And he probably raises some little racist ass kids for all the fuck we know. But anyway, let's move on.
That I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life that are way more of a punishment than what? I took 30-day, 60-day absence. That's not a punishment to me. The punishment is that I did it. And now I have to deal with it. To him.
It's not a punishment to him. And I told you, he doesn't give a fuck about what everybody else feel and think. He feel like, well, what is a punishment for me? You know what is a punishment for you, Dana White? You should be gone. Since you think this way, you should be gone from the UFC. You shouldn't be making no more money off of the UFC at all. Wouldn't that hurt? Since you don't think you should be gone for 30 days, that's not gonna hurt you. He's letting you know ain't nothing gonna hurt me. He gone for a couple of months. So what? Hey, I'm be good. I'm a millionaire. I'm fine. So y'all telling me go for 3 months ain't gonna hurt me. I'll be fine. It's just gonna hurt the sport, because I'm bigger than the sport. I'm bigger than the UFC. And if I'm in any of them UFC fighters, I'm like, yo, he got to go. I'm not fighting. Long as he's around, I'm not fighting. And see, that's what happened when you got a bunch of fucking cowards in the country. It's a lot of cowards. Everybody's self, I gotta get paid. Listen, man, some shit is bigger than money. Bigger than materialistic shit. Bigger than being famous. Where the fuck is your... Listen, I am very sick of people and a fake ass integrity and keep telling me, I got integrity. No, you don't. A lot of you motherfuckers don't got integrity. Because you don't stand for anything. You ain't no more purpose, nigga. You're lying to yourselves. You're lying to people and you're lying to yourselves. Nobody should be fighting long as this dude is still a part of the UFC. Just because off of this shit. Listen, I get what he did about putting his hands on his wife. I get that. But this man came and basically said, ain't no consequences going to hurt me. I'm bigger than the business. It's only going to hurt the fighters. What? Ain't they still going to get paid? Don't they still got to goddamn perform? You don't do none of that. You don't goddamn perform. They are their own characters. You act like come on, bro. Imagine, it's like a promoter sitting there. He was a good promoter. He's animated or whatever. I'm bigger than the fighter. What? Man, you don't get the fuck up out of here. I'm out. Motherfucker, I got a personality. I can find another promoter. This is what Dana White... Let's move on, man. And people accept this shit. In America, people accept this. And this is what I be saying to people when people get upset at me when I say this. As black people, we don't have allies. We send a white man, a white racist man on national TV is basically telling people, hey, you know what? Ain't nothing gonna hurt me. Y'all can give me suspension. I'm fine. He's telling you. They spitting the quiet shit out loud to your face, and you think everything's okay. It's not. They're telling you racism exists. I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do because I'm rich. On top of me being white, I'm rich. And black people sitting around here, you got some shit, a story I'm getting ready to do later. A motherfucker sitting there pretending racism doesn't exist because he's in a position. You one motherfucker or two or three motherfuckers. It ain't a whole bunch of us. Why is that? Because they won't allow a whole bunch of black people. And if they see a whole bunch of black people coming up, then they turn back to their racism. Now we the racist ones. What's this whole inclusion thing? What is this? You hate white people. Ain't nobody say nothing about hating white people. That's y'all shit. The reason we fighting for equality for everybody and trying to push shit is because of you, type of people like you. But let's blame the victims, though. Let's blame the people that they try to oppress. Let's blame the people that are fighting for the oppressed. Let's blame them. But the racists sit there and act like they the victims. What the fuck type of shit is... Listen, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X tried to warn us. They tried to warn us. They tried to warn us, people. And then look where we at. Niggas, a lot of people, though, we got Obama in that shit. We changing. No. Soon Obama got in there, I ain't seen that type of racism I watch, like you keep up with politics, but I ain't never seen that type of racism in my lifetime of being like knowing about politics and shit like that. When Barack got in there, you seen people straight blatantly come out being racist. Like they fuck this monkey, this nigger, and racists came out. And I got my issues with Barack, but hey, it ain't on the same level as Owens. Cause I don't give a fuck. They call her niggas and monkeys all they want. She us. And I got you get to being racist to Barack, nigga, we got a problem. He do a lot of tap dancing and shit. I don't like what he do, but not on the Candace Owens level. It's a difference.
To deal with it. And more importantly, you guys know how I feel about other people's opinions. And I've said this.
And I wanted to say this too for the last. I want people to understand this. You remember when Jeezy, that song, My President is Black, and at the end of that song, and he said, and it's real talk, because all this way. I'm saying, y'all do something to him, we riding on you. And what he mean about what he was saying, if y'all assassinated him. Because I think a lot of black people understood what these racists will do or try to do. We understood. That's why we said, listen, and then I'm going to say this. You can be racist, talk all that shit all you want. You don't really want no civil war with black people, and I'm telling you that now. We ain't our ancestors. We ain't the first civil war black people. Or even after that. We different. Oh, we different. Remember all the gangbangers you like to talk about? Who you think they gonna ride with y'all? They gonna ride with us. And let me just explain something to you. Listen, if some type of civil war happened, you think the Mexican gangbangers gonna ride with white supremacy? Because they ain't, listen, and it's no disrespect to the Mexican, man, listen, don't play that game. You go ahead and side with them and see what happens. We already see, I understand why they be on some racist shit or whatever. I get it. But if a civil war happened, you better pick the right side. You better pick the right side. See, because you got to think about black people. If some type of civil war happened in this country, you act like we ain't got no allies in Jamaica and shit like that. Y'all really truly think that? I don't want to get a game up. Y'all truly really think that? Y'all really think that black people don't have their own other black allies outside of this country? Like, are y'all serious? Y'all don't really want that. That ain't no shit that y'all really built for anymore. You probably was built for it back in the day, but you ain't built for it now. Not in 2023. Y'all ain't built like that. You think all those white people gonna ride with you? They not. It'll be more white people ride with black people in 2023, in this generation, in the 21st century, than back in the day when Lincoln did it. Like, are you certain? You really want to go that route? You really don't. You think you're tougher than what you really are, but you're really not. We'll shut all this shit down. We'll shut the whole motherfucking country down. Play with us like that. You don't want that war. You listen, that's why I always tell y'all, whenever they get mad at the gays and the Mexicans, I get offended by it because I already know what they're trying to do. I work their way to black people. We are they first on their agenda of hate and last to try to hurt. They try to, or discredit. We first, or they try to hurt, and last to discredit. Because they want to, discredit everybody else because they feel that they're the gay and the Mexicans, all of them other minorities, they're going to ride with us. They know that. You don't want to start a real race war. It won't work out for you. I'm just trying to tell you. Just want to let y'all know that. The racist white people out there, listen, it won't work out for you like you think it is. And that's why, like I said, this next election, president election, you really truly think that if Trump lose and you want to go and do a civil war or do whatever the fuck you want to do, another insurrection, you got another thing coming. Biden ain't going to play with you. See, Trump allowed you to do that shit. Biden ain't going to allow you to do that. He going to burn y'all ass up. And y'all playing around. They don't give a fuck who you got in the Congress. Mean nothing. You rush that bitch again. Try that shit again and see what happened. Because the one thing that you had to realize, who's the commander-in-chief? Who runs the military? The president. That's Biden. And Biden will bring the motherfucking military and shoot the fuck out of all of y'all. Yo, you get all your carry, got all your guns and shit, your AR-15s. Yeah, they got bigger shit. They spit more rounds. You ain't that. Listen, you white racist militia groups. Y'all ain't built like that. It may seem like it's a lot of them people. It's not. They running around here to get their little groups come in the hundreds, maybe the couple thousands, the Trump supporters and shit. They ain't been, even if you got 1 million of them bitches, it still ain't a lot. Y'all ain't built like that. Half of the motherfuckers is hair salons. Motherfuckers work at Wendy's. They ain't built like that. I just wanted y'all to know that. That's why I ain't afraid of no motherfucking race war. You ain't really built like that. These motherfuckers ain't built like that, bro. They talk all that gangster shit. They ain't built like that.
And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Nobody, I know a lot of you. I don't know what you do when you go home. I don't know what you're into. Nobody knows you better than your kids do. Okay, the kids. My oldest is almost 22. So for 22 years, he's grown up in a house with me and my wife and the rest of our.
First of all, I got nieces, nephews, god kids, and they like my kids, right? But I got my daughter. They don't know me. Truly, they really don't. They know of me. They have a feeling of me, but they don't know me. They don't know me better. My daughter don't know me. Listen, the only person that know me like that is my wife. And I got plenty of friends, love my friends. They like family. They not friends of mine. They family of mine. My OBF family, they family of mine. Listen, nobody know me like that, bro. Because the shit I would do, if a motherfucker me in a position, you'd be shocked. Just dead serious. But I know one person that know me like that. That's my wife. She know what I would do and what I'm capable of doing. Nobody else. Not blood family, nobody. Even my old homies or motherfuckers that know me. You don't really know. Because like I said, I'm in a different space right now mentally. So a lot of shit that I used to do, motherfuckers didn't never seen me do it or been part of that type of shit. They just know stories or what I tell them or motherfuckers told them about what I am or what I used to do. Nobody know what I'm capable of doing. Other than, and nobody knows me better than my wife. And that's to a certain extent. Because what I'm capable of, you listen, if I told you what I'm capable of, what I would do, like it'll shock you. Or the lengths I go to hurt somebody. I'm not trying to say I'm the toughest dude in the world. I just know what I would do. I know what I do. Listen, nobody in this world knows me better than me. Nobody. Nobody. Nobody knows what I'm more capable of doing than me. Your kids, your family, listen, your wife, whatever, your girl. Listen, nobody knows. Nobody knows what somebody is really, truly capable of doing. So this motherfucker, he's sitting out here, he's talking about, oh, my kids know. No, they don't. They know who you are. Yeah, they perceive of who you really are. Because you can pretend in front of your kids. You can treat your kids a different way than you treat anybody else. What nobody talks about either is that this man's own mother came out, and whatever her intentions may be is whatever. But when your mama come out and talk about you on a live platform, something wrong. Regardless if me and my mom or my dad, we ain't in a good space, right? We ain't tight like that. But I guarantee you my mom or my dad wouldn't come out and tell me how horrible fucking person. They might talk about to family members or something. They may, say certain shit or whatever. But they won't come out and be talking that shit in front of the media and going out in the media like that. I guarantee that shit. Then, like, you know what? I can't even say that. Hey, listen, it's a very small percentage that they'll do that. Because anybody's capable of doing some shit for a bag. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on.
From the rest of our family, everything. They know everything. So whatever perception people might have about you, nobody knows better than your kids. And as long as my kids exactly who I am, they know exactly who their mother is. And that's what this is.
You are a known woman beater. I mean, do that totally define who you is as a person? Depends. You don't take self-responsibility when you come out here with your white privilege and prove to everybody how big and powerful you are with your money and your white privilege, then no, they kind of don't know who the fuck you really are. And let me tell you something about children. We all been children before. We all been young. Everybody, a lot of people think highly of their parents a lot of the times if they do good or bad. Kids will find a way to defend their parents, regardless if they see it's wrong or not. So to put that shit on your kids and be like, oh, well, I got a daughter that's 20. You've been raising her for a long time. You've been putting shit in her head for a long time. You've been grooming her. Listen, we all groom our kids. We all do it. We all groom our kids, not always in a bad way, but sometimes in a good way. We groom our kids to be the best that they can be. So we groom our kids. Our kids are sometimes a split image of us sometimes. So him sitting there and talking, oh, my kids know who I am, because you probably been sitting there grooming your kids for years. You say you got a child that's 26 years old, 2 decades. You've been grooming this child. Listen, you raise your kids on your moral principles. Or whatever you say, I ain't gonna say moral principles. I say whatever you believe. You raise your kids on your beliefs. That's how you raise your kids. And people sit out here and pretend that they don't do that. You do. You raise your kids on your own principles. I raised my kid on my own principles. Or what I stand for. That's how I raised my daughter. If you're a fucking racist, you raise your kid as a racist. Plain and simple. You gotta understand. And I said this before, and I need people to understand about children. Listen. A kid is not born to be anything. They're not like they come out this way. They don't. regardless if it's religion, sex, far as like, homosexual, being homosexual or being heterosexual, none of that shit. Only thing the kid comes out of being is a girl or a boy. Being a racist or black, of course you be black or white, but or whatever race you are, but they the only two things: the race and the gender, and it's whatever their sex is, right? As far as being a woman or a man, their gender. That's it. Everything else is being taught. Everything else is being taught. Honestly, everything, religion, beliefs, to a point of their sexuality, a lot of that shit is being taught, or what they mainly what they're attracted to, or what they want to, if they feel like they're a girl, but that shit is taught. You are being taught a lot of this shit that goes on, the racism, the bigotry, all that shit. That is being taught. It's culture. Regardless if it's good or bad, it's culture. It's beliefs. You teach your kid your beliefs, what you believe in. And your kid turn out to be whatever they be. It just is what it is. Now, some kids turn out to be the opposite of what you taught them. But, like I said, when your kids get a certain age, listen, what a lot of parents don't understand, when you are a parent, a lot of the times you are not their only role model. You listen, a lot of times your children role model is you first. Mom and dad. You're their first role models. Outside of that, as they get older, they find different role models. They go out looking and they experiment with shit. That's what children do. That's what young folks do. So a lot of the times, and they can't comprehend a lot of this shit a lot of the times, but that's where the parents come in. Especially if you're a decent parent and you're raising your kid a certain way, and even if you raise your kid a certain type of way, your kid can still do the opposite of that. They can denounce your help. It's not the one thing that this is the one thing that I never like to do, right? I never like to tell people how to parent their kids, because parenting is probably the hardest job in the world. Regardless of what occupation that you may have, you go out and you make money, all that, whatever. The hardest job is to raise your kid. That's the hardest job, because you're raising a person. Fuck them being a child or anything like that, or fuck them when they grow up to be man or woman, or whatever they choose to want to be, But it's hard to raise a child. That's the hardest job in the world. It's very hard. But a lot of times what happens is, a lot of parents fuck up with their kids because they don't stand for nothing. They do the opposite of what, like, they don't explain to their kid, look, I can do this, but you can't. That was the one thing that I understood when I was young about when I was being raised. When it comes to, like, I understood adults do certain shit that I couldn't do. And as much as I wanted to be adult, I wanted to do adult shit. And I did a lot of adult shit when I was young. But that's because I was wilding and I ain't have no good, at the wild, when I got like in my teens and shit like that, and I have my, mom and a dad really kind of like dead, like about that time in my life, when I got in my teens, I was already like an adult. Like, I was doing adult shit by then. I grew up very, very fast. So it wasn't like, I really was listening to people like that. I just made a lot of my own decisions. It's one like I wasn't listening. I just didn't really, the shit didn't make sense to me because I'm a child. but I grew up fast and not caring that I'm a child, understanding that I'm a child, but not really caring. And so you grow up fast and you think you're an adult. You're doing adult shit, so you think you're an adult. So you do fuck shit. You're not listening to the people around you. And that's what happens to a lot of us. And then we get older and hopefully we get lucky or we get blessed or you know, God got a different outcome for us or whatever. We wind up going back and looking at that type of shit that we was doing. Like, damn, I fucked up. And you know what? Mom, dad, aunts, uncles, big homies, whoever it may be, mentors or whoever it may be, you was right. I had to go back and tell my mentors you was right. I just was ignorant and wild. I had to admit that as a grown-ass man. But as a grown-ass man, I did that because I knew it was the right thing to do. But if I was still in my teens, or my 20s, I couldn't have had that conversation with my mentors and be like, "Hey, you was right." No, I wouldn't have told him that. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I'm still wilding. So, this dude he's full of shit. And that's why I try not to judge people raising their kids or how they parent. But if you're a racist and you're raising children, yeah, I feel like I get the right to judge you. And Dana White, I get the right to judge him. He's raising these kids wrong. And I'm hoping and praying these kids don't wind up being fucking racist like him.
This is a personal family matter that played out in public, and our biggest focus was our kids. You talk about people getting disappointed.
What? You said this is a family personal matter that got played out in public. Let me just say this. Dana White, what are you talking about, bro? You decided to go to Mexico. You and your wife decided to go to Mexico. You and your wife decided to go to that club, and you decided to go to that club and drink. You decided to kiss a woman in front of your wife. Your wife decided to smack you and you smack her. Y'all decided that got nothing to do with the rest of us because we want to talk about it. You decided that in public. No self-responsibility. That's the problem. These people keep pretending, oh, we just regular people. You're not regular people. Listen, people, I tell you all the time, I live regular. I move like I'm a regular person. I do this shit. I have plenty of encounters with people before of just doing this shit. And I ain't that big on YouTube like that. But when I was at my height of doing this shit, yeah, having little interactions. But understand, I knew I should know how to conduct myself. I moved a certain type of way. This dude is sitting here. You got all this responsibility. It's like they want all the fame, they want all the money, but don't want to take the responsibility. That's not a role model. So for him to be out here speaking and telling children any goddamn thing or young folks anything about not doing this and doing that, you don't even self-responsibility for your actions. You can't tell another motherfucker what they should and shouldn't do if you're doing it. That's my whole point, man. Let's move on.
Disappointed. Who's going to be more disappointed than your kids are? And, you know, that's what we've really been focusing on. I mean, as far as her and I go, we both apologized to our kids, and, you know, trying to move forward.
Yeah, what about the others that maybe look? This selfish. Y'all don't understand this. So let me explain something to people about people. Even if you say right, that's your role model. You acknowledge it. Explain something to you to pick that up. Listen, what you never ever tell kids what to do. You can't give your an opinion. You can't tell them what you should look at yourself as a role model. You can't. You remember back in the day saying, I'm not a role model. You shouldn't be going around an organization talking to them. You should never speak to children or speak. Listen, not necessarily you have to be a child to have somebody you look up to. It could be adults that look up to other people. I'm an adult. I look up to other people, right? You shouldn't be speaking on anything. You shouldn't have an opinion about anybody's situation. I need people to understand. It's like me sitting here and pretending that I don't have an effect on other people. Or the shit that comes out of my mouth, or, you know, the platform that I have. I take no responsibility. I just act like, you know, hey, man, you know, I do me, y'all do y'all. But I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna live by nothing I'm talking about. I'm gonna say what I do, but my expectations for you, I don't live by. I can speak on you because you do bad, and I don't do it. But then when I do it, you know, hey man, fuck you. You know you shouldn't do it, but I can do it. Let's just move on, man. I get highly disturbed when people sit here and pretend that they're better than others. Because how are you better when you take no self-responsibility for your own actions? You sit here and you criticize and you ridicule and you just your opinion to have on other people, but you have no morals and no standards. And I'm not saying we perfect as people, but God damn it, you can't speak on other people if you ain't living what you talking about. If you ain't standing for what you stand for. Even if you slip up and make a mistake and fuck up, take self-responsibility. That's a real leader. That's a real role model. You don't get to do this shit that Dana White is doing and talking about. This is a family issue. No. You're not a regular person, Dana White, and you're proving that because you're acting like you don't get to take no consequences for your actions. You can't have it. You know what? I'm sorry. You can if you living in this country, white privilege. What my man Nick say? White power. You got white power. White power. This is white power for your ass. Shout out to my brother Nick.
Move forward.
Is there anything moving forward that you think you can do in terms of, I mean, you just have such a high profile position, right? Like in terms of advocacy. I mean, as you said, this is wrong, this is bad. I mean, is there anything that you think this would be a great point to start to, you know, a message against it, support of domestic violence victims, anything along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, we've created a lot of awareness, you know. This was, you know, and it's not something that I'm trying to, but I've been married to this woman for 27 years. We've known each other for 40. We've been friends for 40 years. We've been married for 27 years, you know. And like I said, anybody who's married knows being married is you know, it's a job. It's something you got to work at every day. Her and I have been through some shit, but we're still together. We have 3 great kids, and, you know, the biggest focus for us is our family. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Basically saying, if it's your wife, you get to smack the shit out of her. No consequences. We've been together a long time. Listen, I've been with my wife, 30 years. Well, no, I ain't 30. It been 23 years. Me and my wife been together 23 years. We've been knowing each other since we was 19. Do that excuse my behavior of putting my fucking hands on her if I did some shit like that? Right now, to say that. Would that excuse it? Because we've been together for so goddamn long. Do that excuse it? This is what he's trying to say. We've been through a lot, you know? And this is how I know that this happened before. Because it just was public. He's admitting it. He's telling you. This time it was public. His own mama said that they got like a violent history. Both of them. This dude fucked his sister-in-law. She accused him of doing it. Just been accused there. Dude did a lot of horrible shit. Listen, let's be real. Because you married to somebody, you've been knowing somebody since you was a child. Listen, I've been knowing my wife since I was a teenager, 19 years old. Listen, bro, that doesn't mean nothing. That don't change if I smack the shit out of her and it's caught on tape or whatever it may be. Listen, let me explain something to you. It doesn't matter. I smacked the shit out of my wife. You think that would matter to her? And I know this for a fact. That would matter to her family? Because we've been together for so long? You think her cousins, her brothers wouldn't come and try to kill me? Try to do some shit to me? Like, real talk. Do that matter? That wouldn't matter. Nigga, as a daddy, I wish a motherfucker would put their hands on my daughter. Her boyfriend, man, I would kill him. Facts. Nothing to think about. Know the consequences for it. Wouldn't care. Put your hands on my daughter and see what happens. Give a fuck how old I am. I could be in my 70s, nigga. I still got that thing. And I'll roll up on you and I'll blow your motherfucking head loose. Put your hands on my nieces or some shit like that. Nigga, I'll kill you. And won't think twice about it. So we ain't got to go to court and be like, oh, you know, did he intentionally do it? I intentionally did it. Now you got to decide how many years you're going to give me. See, I don't play the stupid games with stupid people. I'm built different. I come from a different cloth of motherfuckers. I move different. I was already, I was raised a certain type of way where I was always, and my family members will tell you that. I had a lot of female women in my family on both sides. Listen, they'll tell you I was always overprotective of women in my family. Seen a lot of abuse happen too when I was a child. With my mom and aunts and, you know, and shit like that. So, like, I'm always overprotective, especially as I got older. So, I, like, my you know, tolerating certain shit. And then now, you know, I got a daughter. Is very, like, I'm very hypersensitive when it comes to that. Put your hands on a woman in front of me and see what happens. So I see if they mind. First of all, we have a problem if you did that shit in front of me, period. And I ain't got to know the woman. Always been hypersensitive. That's one thing that anybody in my family will tell you about me. I always was overprotective. Motherfuckers used to get mad and ain't want to invite me to shit because they were like, yo, this nigga be tripping. Every time a new boyfriend come around, one of my aunts or cousins and shit, nigga, I'm up on them. They tell me, yo, my cousin, he crazy. That's what they say. Yeah, he crazy. I ain't crazy. I'm overprotective. They thought I was crazy because I was willing to kill a motherfucker over. See, that's crazy. to a lot of people, but for me, it's not. Fuck with me and mine, any woman, I kill you. The only time I ever stood down was with my sister, and she tried to stop me from, one of my sisters, they wanted to stop me from putting hands on a nigga. She sitting there defending this nigga at eating and put his hands on her. I'm like, what? And that's when I knew I had to take a step back. I was like, okay, well, I don't defend women that keep allowing men to put their hands on, especially if I didn't see it. Right? So I don't like, I won't go that deep in it. Like, I won't go that far with it, but nah, you can't. If I see you put your hands on a woman in front of me, we got a problem. And listen, that shit can go either way. We can fight, I can whip your ass, or I can kill you. Just telling you. I don't play those type of games, and I stand on that. That ain't no shit that I'm gonna sit there and be debating people. That's nothing to debate about. So I wouldn't be shocked if I put my hands on my wife and her cousins and shit, and they found out about it, or her brothers or something like that, which is my brothers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be shocked they want to kill me or put hands on me. And I'm shocked about that. I deserve it. Nigga, that's they. Listen, I'm raised different, bro. Like I said, I'm built a little different. So, whatever, man.
It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think about what it's like. I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of awareness, and I haven't hid from this thing. I haven't ran from it. I've taken it head on, and from day one, I don't know what else I could do. Sure, if I could help anybody else in this situation, I said it before, and now I'm saying it after I've done it. You don't ever do it. Don't defend me. Don't anybody defend me. There's no reason to even try to defend me, and I don't want any of our fighters in this position where they feel like they have to, unless they want to come out and say he's an asshole, or whatever their feelings are about this. I'm all about free speech. So,
last thing for me, Dana, I mean, it was incredibly unfortunate timing, I guess, in terms of the launch of a slap league. I mean, do you think that's going to impact what happens with that, or is it good to go? Or
there is no good or bad timing for what I did. You know what I mean? There's irony, very ironic, but there's no good or bad timing for what I did on New Year's Eve.
Let's go back. Because I don't think y'all heard what he said. I don't think y'all heard what he said. And this is why Dana White should be gone from the UFC. Listen to what he said. Let's go back.
I don't know what else I could do.
Hold on.
Sure, if I could help anybody, but we're still together. We have 3 great kids, and the biggest focus for us is our family. I mean, yeah, I guess it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think about what it's like. I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of awareness.
So you got there. You knew nothing to say. So you just basically, listen, he doesn't care. He smacked his wife. He doesn't think nothing about it. He doesn't think anything about this. He doesn't care or what happened. He doesn't care how it kind of really looked. All the other shit he talking about, he shame and all that, he really don't, he's not ashamed. He's not really ashamed. The apology, nobody defend him. That shit, it's all a lie. It's all make pretend. Because you come out here, excuse me, he comes out here and he's sitting out here, I don't know what else to say, because there's nothing to say. The reason you have nothing to say, because it's nothing for you to say. Because you don't fear any consequences. No consequences is coming at you. And let me tell you the most dangerous mind of a racist, like Dana White. This white privileged racist white man. He got money. He got power. He got popularity. And his mind, he really truly think he's above his own fighters of others, regardless if he's their boss. If you are a boss, you are a supervisor, you hold yourself at a certain standards over the people that you are supervising or whatever it may be. But he doesn't have that integrity. And it's like that for a lot of Americans. You see how people get in positions and they start acting different? It's no different than what Dana White is doing. But the only difference is his white privilege. He knows nothing gonna happen to him. And he can lie. And he can sit there and deceive people and pretend, oh, you know, I don't know why people coming out defending me. You know why. Because you was behind the scenes talking to these people. And then at the same time, you know why people coming out defending you? Because they're Trump supporters. They allow Trump to be, and you are a Trump supporter, and you sided with a guy like that said consequences didn't happen to me because I'm the president. And that's how you look at yourself, Dana White. That's why you fuck with Trump. Nobody in their right mind that stand for principles and stand on and live in real reality that understands and just have morals and ethics for themselves. They wouldn't fuck with nobody like Trump, regardless of what he can do for you. That's like me sitting there, if a drug dealer came up to me and said, you know what, he had a charisma, he could be a good dude, he come off as a good dude, and he say, you know, Kenny, I got a couple of bricks for you, man. No, I'm sorry, he the biggest drug dealer. He come and say, I got a couple of dollars for me, I like what you do, man. You know what I mean? I like what you do. Let me donate. Let me not donate, but let me give you some money. Let me put some money in your pocket. I turn that nigga down. Because I'm not associated with gang shit. I'm not associated with street shit or drug dealers. I don't want your money. I don't want none of that shit. All I want you to do is change and do better. Be an example. Not that type of example, but be a better example than what the fuck you doing. I don't want your fucking money. I don't want to be associated with you in no how. That's why I don't move. That's why I told motherfuckers I don't move like a street nigga no more. Why the fuck would I move like a street nigga? And I don't believe in none of that shit like that. That's not my lifestyle. I don't live that. I cannot keep sitting here pretending that I'm this street dude and I'm not. I'm not that street dude. I come from it. I never deny it. I know how to move amongst motherfuckers like that. But I don't associate with street niggas. For what? Nigga, I'm a family man. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not a street dude. I know what a street dude is. I know what a gangbanger nigga is. I know how people supposed to be. I know the active, when you active. I know how that goes. I used to be it. That ain't who I am. So why the fuck would I associate? Why would I defend that? Anything. Or accept anything from them? No. Excuse me. But that's my morals. That's my moral compass. Everybody ain't built like that. And I get that. And it's not that I accept it. It's just like I live in reality. Everybody ain't built like that. Everybody want to sit out here and pretend. If you're associated with a motherfucker, that's what you is. So I'm going to look at you that way. I'm sorry. You will never see me hanging around a whole bunch of gangbanging niggas or some street niggas for no apparent reason. I'm there for a reason. I'm not there to hang out. Nigga, listen. I hang out in my studio, nigga. I hang out in my house, nigga. I got a house to hang out at. I can drink, and if I did smoke marijuana or drink, a lot of liquor or something like that, I do that here. I can do that here, and it's a safe place. Ain't no shit I got to hang out on the corner to hang out with niggas to show I'm down. Fuck, I'm not down. So why the fuck am I trying to prove that I'm down? So when I look at people like Dana White, my whole point is, I look at Dana White, when you associate yourself with a racist like Donald Trump, then that's what you are. I don't associate myself with people that do shit that's not what I do. Don't do business, ain't got time for it. I don't. That's me personally. But that's, to each his own. But don't tell me you on the same moral standards that I'm on. You're not. I don't hang with people that's outside of my moral compass. It's certain shit that I let go that ain't a big deal to me, far as certain shit I won't do or I wouldn't be a part of. But it's a certain level of fucking with gangbangers or coons or sellouts and shit. Nah, you'll never see me do that. Regardless, unless I'm there to help. Unless I'm there to do something positive. If I'm not there to do nothing positive, you will not ever see me hang with people like that. And that's real talk. Because there's nothing to talk about other than me to be doing something positive.
Yes. And, I haven't hid from this thing. I haven't ran from it. I've taken it head on and from day one, I don't know what else I could do. Sure, if I could help anybody else in this situation, I said it before, and now I'm saying it after I've done it. You don't ever do it. Don't defend me. Don't anybody defend me. There's no reason to even try to defend me, and I don't want any of our fighters in this position where they feel like they have to.
I'm trying to understand. So what is your point of being there? So it should not, listen. So, listen, this is what I'm getting from Dana White. ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and all of them and UFC. Long as you admitted what you did and say, don't nobody defend me and all this fuck shit that he's saying, that's enough. So we should just move on. Because that's basically what he's saying to me. That's what I'm getting. Everything's fine now. I admitted it. I know it's wrong. Let's move on. Let me explain something to you people. I was a custodian. If I had a domestic violence issue and it was in, I went to jail for shit like that, I would get in trouble for that. I may get suspended. That's a may, because it's you might get fired. What are we talking about here? We hold fucking custodians to a higher principle. Higher standards than this dude? Listen, if I had anything like, and it's not just because it was just because it was violence. In that way, my job would have been like, hey, I don't think you should be around children. This man hits women, and that nobody's acting like, well, why is he even around children? Nobody even thinking about that. Think about this. If it was a friend of yours, and he smacked the shit out of his wife, and you seen it on video, you know what happened, blah, blah, blah. Would you allow your kid to be around him? If you so, then it's no reason for you to want to be associated with somebody, with a person like Dana White. But if you say no, then yeah, take your kids around. This shit's sad.
They have to, unless they want to come out and say he's an asshole, or whatever their feelings are about this. I'm all about free speech. So
last thing for me,
yeah, because words don't hurt him like that. He pretend that he did. Words do hurt him. Because if motherfuckers called him a racist, it would hurt him. And which, like I said, or at least bother him. May not hurt him, but it may bother him. But he don't even give a fuck. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I still ain't going nowhere. I'm still going to be a part of the UFC. I'm still going to make this bag. I'm going to get this bag. And then, mind you, he know he can do it because ESPN is backing him. The UFC is backing him. The fucking fighters are still sitting there and they backing him. And I'm going to say this to all the UFC fighters. You're fighting after this dude says this, and nothing happens to him. But if this was you, something would happen to you, though. It would hurt. It would hurt your, they will label you as a woman beater. Because you know why? Because they was in the front of doing that. Tough. Excuse me. But now he does it, nothing happens. And so, listen, I'm going to say this to all the UFC fighters. I don't want to hear y'all talking about y'all role models or nothing like that. I see, because this is where I'm getting at right now. Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of people not taking self-responsibility. And I'm sick of people that will associate themselves with people for bag, for money, for profit, for fame. And you do that shit on some selfish shit when you know it's morally wrong. Listen, if you go out and anybody that fight in the UFC, that means that you're okay with domestic violence. Men, women, whoever you may be. Anybody that go out and support the UFC, you are okay with domestic violence. If you watch that shit, support it, spend your money, however it may be, that means that you're okay with domestic violence. You are okay with men putting their hands on women. We're not playing this stupid game, some of you people anymore. You're going to take self-responsibility or you can get ridiculed. Or that's how I'm going to look at you from now on. I'm not playing that. So, listen, anybody in the UFC, any that shit, defend that shit, then you okay with it. You okay with domestic violence and stand on it. And stop pretending that this shit, because I didn't know he did it. You still putting money in his pockets? It wasn't like he was at home when he smacked the shit out of her. He took your money that you would spend to watch the UFC to go over there in Mexico and smack the shit out of his wife. So he used some of your money. Like, how hard is that for y'all to comprehend? But anyway, let's move on.
It was incredibly unfortunate timing, I guess, in terms of the launch of a slap league. I mean, do you think that's going to impact happen with that, or is it good to go?
There is no good or bad timing for what I did. You know what I mean? There's irony, very ironic, but there's no good or bad timing for what I did on New Year's Eve.
Daniel, when something like this happens, you've got to take it day by day. I'm sure plans are changing about how you deal with it, but sitting here today, do you think, differently, maybe I should have put out a statement rather than go to TMZ? Is there anything you would have done differently?
I would have stayed home New Year's Eve. If I could go back and change anything, I'd have stayed home on New Year's Eve.
To stay home on New Year's Eve. You know what you should have said? I should have never put my hands on my wife. Regardless if you don't remember the situation or not, I regret I should have never put my hands on my wife. If something would have been different, not put my hands on my wife, because it was the most despicable shit that I could have did. It was wrong or whatever. He didn't even say that. He's I should have still stayed home. Well, a lot of motherfuckers think they should have stayed home when fucked up shit happens. How about your actions? Nobody told you to go to the club because you want. I ain't even gonna say that because I don't know this for a fact. Because most likely he probably was, but you wasn't that drunk when you went to the club to do what you did. And you could try to blame it on the alcohol all you want. Listen, people, let me just explain something to y'all, man. Listen. This is why I tell people do not, man or woman, don't put your hands on each other. Listen. From what he says, I don't believe him that this time this happened. It happened before, in my opinion. Just to say that this is the first it ever happened. Listen, you might already wanted to smack the shit out of her. Alcohol, we know about alcohol and getting drunk. Listen, you usually react to shit in a certain type of way. You already feeling that way. A lot of the times. Like, honestly, it's about a 70% chance of what I'm talking about. The other 20 is just, it maybe just, it was an accident or shit just, you know, it came from nowhere, right? That's about 20%, about 30%, I'm sorry, 30. But the other 70%, yeah, you were feeling that way already. Something happened. Something happened, or you already was doing it already. Nobody just, all of us, listen, man. And like I said, sometimes the reaction, this is why I tell people to keep their hands to themselves. Somebody smack you, bro. Like, yo, seriously, your reaction a lot of times is to smack that motherfucker back, bro. Seriously. This is why I keep saying, man or woman, keep your fucking hands to yourself. If you put your hands on somebody, that means you better understand the consequences that come from that. You may get smacked the fuck back or fucked up. Like, real talk. Like, what we talking about here? Like, people sitting there pretending like, oh, it's a woman. Listen, man, somebody smacked you. Your reaction, no matter who the fuck it is to smack their ass back. It's like somebody punch you. You ain't gonna punch them back? Especially in that quick reaction like that. A lot of times, when somebody hits you a lot of times, and they like, it's like a sucker punch. Somebody sucker punch you a lot of times. Listen, I know me. If I get sucker punched, I'm like, what the fuck? I have got sucker punched before. The fuck? What the fuck wrong with you? And I straight go. I straight go. Regardless if I'm gonna get my ass whooped or not, I straight go. Because you, listen, a lot of times, when you don't expect a punch, your reaction or smack, your reaction to is to respond to it. It's just a normal human reaction. But Dana White is just sitting here. You know the crazy part about it? The one thing he is right about. Because that's why I said this happened before. He said it. He said, you know, the only thing is that it got caught in the media. This happened before. And I always tell people, if ain't nobody dying or nobody seriously getting their ass whipped like that, if you have a dispute with your spouse, nobody should call the police. Because Once the police get involved, regardless of what the fuck happened, who started it, the outcome ain't gonna be what you really truly want in that moment. Because in that moment, you made your emotions running high and shit like that, and I get it. But listen, I'd never call the cops on my wife if she smacked me or she punched me. Never. Would never do it. I'm built in a different way too, so if she pulled the gun out on me, still wouldn't call the police. If she threatened me, I probably wouldn't give a fuck. Like, I wouldn't care. Now, my wife, if I did that to her, yeah, I expect her to do that. It is a double standards with that, because if I did that, I threaten her and shit like that, and I'm out there dog walking the shit out of her or some shit like that, then yeah, my wife better call the goddamn cops. Because I'm probably most likely kill her if I'm getting that upset. Because that can lead to me wanting to kill her ass. Because I know me. So, yeah. But for me, nah. If my wife did that to me, nah. Pulled the gun out on me, nah. I let that go. Especially if the situation get calmed down. Like, nah. Ain't no way I'm doing that. I'm built a different way. And I'm sorry to tell people, listen, I'm not this feminist type of dude or believe in feminist. Listen, I believe that there is double standards in life. And I understand it. Especially when it comes to men and women. Listen, women can get away with certain shit. I would never call the police on my wife because she smacked the shit out of me. Would never get her arrested for no shit like that. She punched me or some shit like that. Just wouldn't.
On my New Year's Eve, yeah. But no. I don't know. Do you think so?
I don't know, maybe an official statement, but if you said that in TMZ, it's the same words.
I did an interview on TMZ. I literally, what else was there to say?
No, I
I
agree.
mean, you could literally write an official statement from my TMZ interview.
You mentioned it's a personal matter, and I respect that, but I'm curious, is everything okay with the family? Is it a process?
First of all, it's never a personal matter when you are a celebrity. You are somebody that's famous. When you get caught on tape doing some fuck shit, that is not a personal issue anymore. You did it in public. I don't understand why people trying to act like this is some type of private shit that he got to do. Listen, it may be some shit. Listen, never mind. This is why I never strive to be famous or rich. Because the simple fact, I just hope I would never be like these type of people. Try to pretend that me being famous or being rich doesn't matter. I'm regular like everybody else. No, I'm not. Even now that I'm not on that level, I know I'm on a whole type of different level than others. I get that. I understand that. That's why I move the way I move. That's why I got morals and standards and shit that I stand on. Because some of I understand, I ain't like everybody else. Like, I get that. And it's not I'm better than them. I understand where I'm at in life. I'm different. Morally, I'm just different from people. But just financially, whatever it may be, I'm different from a lot of friends or whatever. So I a certain type of way. He trying to sit there and act like I'm just a regular person. You're not a regular person. I don't even understand. Listen, I don't even think people really truly understand what the definition of being real is. Because people got their own definitions of being real. Listen, my definition of being real, stand on what you say, regardless if it's right or wrong. Stand on it. That's my definition of it. And I read the definition of real. And that's my conclusion of it. So stand on it, regardless if it's wrong or right. Stand on it. The difference is people don't understand when motherfuckers talk about they real. Do you understand the consequences that come with that? Because see, being real comes with consequences, regardless of good shit and bad shit. It comes with consequences. That's what being real is. At the end of the day, what's real? You real? Oh, nigga, it's you a real dude on some good shit. It's consequences for that, and the reason for that because you got haters, you got people that envy and jealous, and people that don't want to see you doing good. It's consequences for doing certain shit. Just for being a good person, consequences. That's why I move. I understand motherfuckers ain't gonna like what I do and say, and how I conduct myself, and how I move, and the shit I stand for. Even though I ain't trying to hurt nobody, but nobody gives a fuck. Like, you got fucked up people out here in the world. They don't give a fuck. That's what it is. Regardless if you're doing good or bad shit, it's consequences for it. But a lot of people want to live in La La Land. Anyway, let's move on. I told y'all I dropped Jules on this bitch. Listen, I told y'all, if financially I had the money that a lot of these YouTubers have, and if I launched standards, like a lot of these YouTubers do, to make money, to be popular on YouTube, I run YouTube. Because a lot of these motherfuckers sit out here faking they hate, and they be sitting out here pretending that they're making up, they making up verse, like they trying to make up some shit. Like, I don't try to make it up. It is what it is. Like, why are we living in this fake reality? It's not it's no reason to be trying to live in this fake reality. Let's live in the reality that we in. Talk about the real shit. Stop pretending that this shit is different than what it really is. I come from gutter shit, so like, I know what the fuck is. I know what real reality is. People can't change my mind on what's real. What's really real out here is what reality is too. That's a part of what being real is, or being real about shit. It's real shit going on, and people sitting out here making shit, and they trying to live in different realities to be in a safe place. Nigga, I want to be out here with the wolves. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be living in this La La Land shit. Where the wolves at? I don't like bullies. Let's talk about it. Let's do this shit. Everybody want to live in La La Land, but it's okay. Because like I said, we're going to come to a point that where we're going to stop this fake reality shit, these conspiracy theory shit of people, of stupid people. That's what we live in amongst of cowards too. Because they live in these conspiracy theories because they're cowards. Because life is scary. Life is reality is very scary. Especially if you ain't built for it. And even some of the people that know about it, they just still ain't built for it. I seen the most gangsters motherfuckers. Real is the realest, they want to say. See, reality, say, ooh, nah, I don't want to do that. That's what changed my life, nigga. Jail changed my life. I tell people that all the time, nigga. James changed my life. Nigga, I want to live, because if motherfucker break me in jail, nigga, hey, they gonna die, and I may commit suicide. Or I may do so much shit of hurting other people in jail that motherfucker ain't got no choice but to kill me. And I ain't never coming home. I could be in there for a fucking trap stop, nigga. You rape me, nigga, ain't no way I'm kill you while I'm in that bitch. I want to make sure that. Sorry. Fucking my manhood. You took my manhood, basically. Nah. I got back your life. I'll take your life fucking with me. I don't, and listen, and I'm not out here condoning violence. I'm not telling people to go out here and condone violence. I'm just saying that's what I would do. Because everybody ain't built like me. Everybody don't think like me, and I get that, and that's cool. But
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing nobody's asking about. Hey, are you okay? Is everything? We finished family vacation and we came home, and yes, we're good. I mean, obviously, still dealing with, with the kids. My oldest isn't happy with us, you know what I mean? And it's I'm sure it's embarrassing for the kids, that this thing played out. And again, I can tell you this, and a lot of people will take it.
listen, and that's what happens. You gotta understand, when you out here moving and shit, out here pretending and playing this fake reality that you live in, I'm famous, and doing all this goofy shit that a lot of people do. You got kids, man. Kids watching, they got their own lives, they got their own friends, they got their own styles. And your lifestyle connects to theirs in a way, right? All this shit very popular like that, and you do some shit like that, your kids are getting backlash. Your kids get bullied from school. Hey, your dad a woman beater. That happens. Kids are cruel. He ain't gonna sit there and pretend that. Kids are cruel, man. So that's why having morals and integrity stand for something. That's why it means something. Motherfuckers sitting out here pretending that they got morals and integrity and they don't really have it. And then they sit out here like Dana White said, I got morals and integrity. No, you don't. You just put your kids, my oldest kid, my oldest daughter, kid, upset at us. And she got a right to. You put her in a situation. Because you didn't care about her. You never did. And the reason that you never did, because you are a racist. You never gave a fuck about them kids. Listen, Pooh. Let me tell you the difference between me and a racist. Listen, I give a fuck about how my kid perceive me. I care about how folks or children care what they see and what they think about me. I care about that shit. I do this for the youth. I mainly do this shit for the youth. But I'm not gonna sit out here and pretend if I'm doing fuck shit and not be real and not be honest with the youth and be real with the people. And you sitting out here and you pretending this shit doesn't have an effect on these children. I'm a grown ass man, bruh. Me to sit up here and pretend my behavior or how I conduct myself or how I am doesn't have an effect on children. It has an effect on children. You don't know who the fuck your kid role model gonna be after you their first role model, but then after that, they got other role models. Listen, I tell my daughter all the time, like, if grown folks, we in the mix of doing some grown folk shit, and my daughter said, and listen, y'all, my daughter has a disability, right? Nigga, I tell my daughter, hey, get up out of here. I treat her as normal as I can. Forgot it. Grown folks talking. Get out of here. That's how I was raised. I'm gonna cheat that. Listen, I know she got disabilities or whatever. My daughter's probably the smartest person I ever met in my life, other than my wife. And I'm hoping and praying she's smarter than me and my wife put together. I'm street smart. I know that. My wife is more of a book, but the bond of me and her together, that's a dangerous nation, boy. You know what I'm saying? So I want my daughter to be better than both of us. Have that street smart, that book smart, and let her blossom with her disability, because it's something. I don't want to get too deep in it. It's something with kids that got disabilities. They're smarter than The average motherfucker. They smarter than us. Nigga, I was sitting there trying to do some homework with my daughter the other day. What the fuck is this? And she's 7, nigga. What the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? The fuck is this? I had to go with my wife. And my wife, listen, education is very intelligent. She's very intelligent than I am. But I know what I know, but she's up there. Like, my wife graduated from fucking, like, she graduated when she was 16 out of high school in public school. In public school, she graduated when she was 16. So, listen, my wife is very fucking intelligent. So, I looked at that. What the fuck? Hold on. What I need to do here? And my wife, you got to do this, and you know. I said, oh, okay, all right, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like at the time I couldn't get it. Like my wife went and told me like what I had to do. I was like, okay, all right, I get it. You know what I mean? Cause my daughter, she came in there like she supposed I did her homework, but she didn't. But she was on some bullshit, and then my wife was getting mad at her that she didn't do it, and I was like, all right, you know, let me do my part. Hey, come on, come in here with me. I was laying in the bed. Come in here with me, cause she was at a computer desk and shit doing it. But I told her, come on in our room, hey, like sit down, let's do this shit. Right, you know what I'm saying? And we sat down. Then I looked at the paper like, whoa, the hell is that? Oh. And know all about her just kind of like tracing her numbers, tracing her letters a little bit. I still, like, from the main paper, I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? And my wife was like, came in, and she was like, oh, no, it's just that. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. So I said that once I got it. Like, it wasn't a big thing, but I didn't get it. I probably had to go back and look at other pages or some shit to figure out what the hell was going on. So, shout out to my wife. Listen, I'm around a lot of smart women. You know what I mean? My wife is very intelligent, and my daughter is very smart too. She knew what it was because she was like, "Daddy, what?" like, yeah, like what? No, Daddy, this, that way, that way. And she was like, and she was kind of like in her feelings and shit because my wife got on her for not doing her work, so she kind of like shut down on her. So she kind of didn't want to help me out a little, but she was kind of like, Daddy, no, this. And I was like, I don't know the fuck that is. I just called my wife like, hey, what the hell is this? And she was like, no, this go. This is how you got to do it. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah. See what I tell you about being real? Be honest. You don't know something, you don't know it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, shout out to my brother, Talking and Grubbing, man. Shout out to my brother, man. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my brother, Talking and Grubbing media channel. Go over there and support my brother. He does the sports over there. Let's get back into this, people.
Will take it however they want, will believe or won't believe, but it's never happened before. It never ever happened before. So obviously for my kids, the big.
How tough was that conversation with them the day after and just in general?
I mean, just like we did, you know, before the TMZ interview happened, we sent them the video and we got them on the phone, you know, and we did the best we could.
Thanks, Dana. Hey, Dana. I was just wondering if you have reached out to any of the female fighters on the roster, especially the ones that have dealt with domestic violence before. I was just wondering if you.
No, I haven't reached out to any of the fighters. This is my thing. This is my thing between me and my family. You know.
So why? And this is what I'm saying. He's not a role model. He's not somebody you should look up to. He's a selfish individual. Listen, and this is why the UFC should get him. If he doesn't understand that he's in a position that he's in to teach others and takes no responsibility for his actions, then he should not be, I guess the you can say, or what he does. He shouldn't be there. Oh, this is a personal issue. No, dude, this is not a personal issue. This was something that you campaigned on. You suspended, got rid of other fighters for doing, and then you turned around and did the same shit. And then you now talking about, oh, it's a personal issue. It's a family issue. Well, when them other guys did what they did, it was a family issue, a personal issue. And you suspended them, got rid of them from out the league. But now it's you, it's different. I try to tell y'all, man, this is ugly. This is ugly. Dana White should never. Listen, the most I want happen to Dana White should be out of the UFC at least for 2 years. He should be gone. He should not be seen. Go work on your behavior, bro. Because what you just displayed was some fuck shit. Just go about your business, bro. No, listen, you don't even take responsibility for your own actions, but you are a dude that's still in power, that still wants to sit there and tell others about their behavior. It's okay for you to do it, but it ain't okay for them. You can't have this dude in power like that. ESPN, you know better. Boycott UFC and ESPN. They all in cahoots. Nobody should be watching the First Take. None of that shit. ESPN shouldn't be watching it. If you are against domestic violence, you should not be watching ESPN or the UFC. If you are watching that shit, then you are okay with domestic violence. That's how that goes. We're not going to sugarcoat and play these stupid games anymore. We're not going to do that. I told y'all this year, I'm not playing with people. So if you're still watching ESPN and all that other shit, like, listen, I don't give a fuck if it's boxing over there. I'm not watching that shit until Dana White is gone. And if not, then okay. Then I miss a fight, nigga. I don't care. I miss a basketball. I don't care. I don't want to watch that shit no more. I'm not fucking with that shit no more. Because he's okay. They are okay with domestic violence. And it just is what it is.
You know, and whether you're a media member, a fighter, or whatever you are, you saw my interview. And that's my position on it. And you're hearing my position on it today.
Dana, thanks for coming out. Obviously, both sides carried a little bit of fault, but thank you for coming out here. And seems like you're taking a lot of the blame. You don't want people to defend you. What do you say to the people that are wanting to put the blame on your wife, that your wife started this, and that was ramifications of her?
Yeah, no, there's only one side of this. It's my side. There's never a reason or an excuse for what happened on New Year's Eve to ever happen, period. And like I said, I'm 53, I'll be 54 this summer. Done it. I mean, never put me in my life other than my sister when we used to try to kill each other when we were little. You know what I mean? But other than that, you know, this is the first time that it's ever happened, and I guarantee you it will never happen again, and nobody should be defending me.
First of all, how are you going to guarantee something when you don't take responsibility for anything? Listen, and let me just say this, and this is why people shouldn't be watching ESPN or the UFC, shouldn't be supporting none of this shit anymore. And I need people to understand this. Listen, you shouldn't be fucking with this shit no more. Because this man is basically sitting here and he's telling you, I never did it before. It happened, but it shouldn't be no consequences for me because it doesn't hurt me. It hurts others. It hurts the sport. If I get consequences that happen to me, that hurts other people. Well, you should have thought about that before you put your fucking hands on your wife. Did you think about those fighters? Whatever shit you thought about the UFC or ESPN or any of those people that have jobs or their occupation? Did you care about that before you put your fucking hands on your wife? No, you did not. You didn't care. And you can blame it on the alcohol all you want, but you did do it. And right there should let you know, if it was the alcohol, why is he not like going to any counseling? Like, it's nothing happening to him. Just people talking. He doesn't care. He already showed you fucking with Trump. You can say whatever you can't shame them with words. It has to be repercussions. That's why I call Trump Teflon Don. It's nothing happening to him. He done did all that shit he did, said all the shit he did, and nothing happens to him. Dana White is under that same playbook. And that's what I keep telling y'all about Stephen A. Smith. He's under that same playbook too. When it comes to black people, y'all sit out there and y'all continue to keep watching that shit. He keep insulting black people, but y'all keep supporting it though. Nobody should be fucking with that shit. Their viewers should go down. Their views ain't even, First Take and ESPN viewers ain't even going down. They make money off of now. And y'all don't understand the power that you do have. Stop watching that shit. Stop supporting it. Regardless of your favorite team over there, it doesn't matter. Nigga, listen. If I only could watch basketball on ESPN, I wouldn't watch it. That's real talk. This man is admitting that he beat women, but it shouldn't be no consequences. But he's still in power to where any of those fighters saying they can say what they want to say about me, but I'm gonna put down the law when they do some shit. But for me, I can do it because I ain't never did it before. Well, some of them fighters ain't never did for either, but you still give them. It's still consequences for them. You still, go after those fighters. You still send down consequences for them. How you better? So they should get the pass that you get. If it never happened before, they should get the same pass you got. That's why I said anybody that's in the UFC that ever beat their woman or smack their woman on some type of domestic violence shit, they ever do it, regardless if they dog walked them or not, or they just smacked them, it wasn't that good of a deal, right? And in their eyes, right? If Dana White or the UFC suspend you, do anything like that, you should sue them. This is a even if it happened already, they should be suing Dana White in the UFC. Excuse me. They don't keep the same energy. The fuck out of here. It's the same energy, man. Move on.
There aren't two sides of the story. There's only my side.
Thanks, Dana.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
See you left. Hey. In 2014, you said you don't bounce back from putting your hands on a woman. Do you bounce back from this as a leader in the UFC and at home as a husband and a father?
You don't. You don't bounce back from this. You don't ever bounce back from this, For the rest of my life, like I said, however long that is.
That is not idiotic fuckery shit. That is white supremacy, white privilege bullshit. Yes, you can bounce from domestic violence, people. Because all domestic violence is not the same. His situation, listen, it's not the same as everybody else domestic violence type of shit a male got involved with. It's not the same to a certain extent. At the end of the day, it's still domestic violence, but the situation is a little different. Yes, you can. You can bounce back from it. If you get the right help, you admit it, you take self-responsibility, you take the consequences for it. That is not true of what he's saying. Listen, let me just say this. Yes, listen, you can say that I used to be a drug dealer. I used to believe in criminal behavior. I used to. But you can't say that about me now. You understand what I'm saying here, people? Just because you do some shit doesn't mean that you can't come from it. If you do right and you start doing positive shit and you take the right steps to start doing right. And take self-responsibility. It's like me sitting there and just saying, hey, you know what? Hey, man, you know, I couldn't tell y'all. I wouldn't feel comfortable either, but I couldn't tell the youth, hey, man, yeah, you know, when you're young, you guys, you know, living that lifestyle, you just got to do what you got to do. You know, you got to sell dope, shoot and kill each other. You got to do that, man. I mean, you know, especially if you grew up that way like I grew up, so you got to do it. No. You don't tell these fucking children that. You don't tell them young folks no shit like that. You don't tell them that. Oh, it's a better way. Why would I sit out here and tell young folks, yeah, you grew up the kind of the same way I do, so you got to kill motherfuckers like I did. You got to murder people. You got to beat people. You got to steal and hurt people. Destroy your community. Why would I tell them that? Why would that be okay? No. Yeah, I did it. I'm ashamed of that shit. I'm ashamed of, listen, people, I would never sit there and tell y'all I'm okay with all the street shit that I did. Like, I'm ashamed of that shit. I'm ashamed of it. It was wrong for me to do. I understood the situation that I was in, but it didn't make it right. And I don't think that anybody else should ever fucking do it. Never go that route that I went through. But I can tell, listen, if I just say you shouldn't go that route that I did what I did, but I had to do what I had to do because of the simple fact, you know, it happened. You know, I was part of that street life, you know, so, you know, I lived in that type of environment, so I had to do it. Listen, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Everybody got a fucking choice in life to do what they got to do. It was my environment. I did what I did. I don't glorify that shit. I'm not happy about it. It ain't no shit that I like that I did. I helped destroy my community. So why the fuck I'm praising that shit? Why would I be okay with that? Why would I think that that's all right to do? Never okay with it. Never say, you know what, I can't come back from that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. If I put my hands on a woman, listen, and I'm not saying I didn't do it, but I'm just saying, if I did that, I'd work better than not to do that shit again. I'd be better. I try to work, I try to take the steps to try to be better than to get doing no shit like that. I can come back from that. Yeah, I wreck it, but at the get fucking time, put a lot more good shit and make awareness of it and keep and understanding, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I did that, and I got the experience. But it's an experience that I have that I did that shit. So now I want to show people, let me figure out why I got to those points. Let me figure out why did I do that? Why did I put mans on a woman? Let me figure that out. Nate, well, it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. No counseling, no nothing. Figure out why you did what you did. This is what I'm saying. He just basically, hey, what I going to fight. A lot of people want me. And people should hate me. That ain't, but you took the job. No consequences. Nobody's saying you can't get the job back, but there got to be some consequences. You don't even want consequences. You don't even want to give yourself harsh consequences. That's me. And I did some shit like that. I say, you know what? I'm not coming back in the UFC until I get till I feel that the people see, the fighters see, the business see that I'm actually trying to change my behavior and try to figure out what was going on with me. Why would I go to that little put my on my woman? He thinks, and I'm gonna tell you why he don't think nothing wrong with, because she smacked him. But he's the same dude saying, hey, regardless if a woman hit you, you shouldn't hit her. That doesn't even make any sense, bro. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even, like, he's listen, this man is a despicable human being. And like I told you, despicable human being because of the simple fact of that he's associated with Donald Trump. Why is everybody so shocked and appalled that he's taking this way of how he looking at this bad situation? He's trying to play it. I know I did it wrong. I apologize, but I really don't. Because ain't no consequences gonna happen to me because I'm Dana White. That's Trump shit. And you know what? ESPN, the UFC, Stephen A. Smith, and the rest of them that defend this dude, you can't complain about anybody else or taking responsibility when you're allowing this dude to do what he's doing. I just don't understand why they can't connect these things. But then in a sense, they're not that they connected. They connected it the same way I'm connecting it. They're choosing to ignore it because of these, it makes them money. It's a bag. And okay, and if that's the case, then don't come out here criticizing nobody else. You can't criticize nobody else for doing wrong. Don't ask anybody to apologize or no shit like that. Because it means nothing. Dana White is a despicable human being. He is actually sitting here pretending that, I did what I did, but, ain't no consequences going to happen to me, so what? So what y'all talking about? Oh, it hurts everybody else if I'm gone. What? No, wouldn't. Actually, for me, if you was gone, and a lot of people, if you was gone, I would feel better that you are gone. But I told you, he's with the right wing. He was with Trump and them. They think, oh, you cancel culture in me. He really want to say that, but he can't say it because he know you're in the wrong. So he trying to use type of words. You cancel. I ain't gonna let y'all cancel culture me. So I ain't cancel culture in you. You did something wrong. You criticize everybody else, and you did the same shit that some other people that you criticize. You did the same exact shit, but it's no consequences for you. And if it's consequences for you, it's cancel culture. Come on, bro. Whatever.
People are going to label me that. You know what I mean? I did it. I did it.
How do you repair things at home?
You don't bounce back. You wake up every day and try to be better than you were yesterday, and you make sure that that never happens.
He said, the guy asked him, how do you repair that? He says, you don't. Yeah, you do. You can repair this. Listen, it's not the end of the world. Listen, you put your hands on your woman. And listen, if he was just being real honest about this and taking self-responsibility in his actions, I would look at it as like, listen, on real talk, for me as a man, if she would have never smacked him, he wouldn't have smacked her. I'm not saying it's right for a man to smack a woman because he put his hands on him, but at the same time, I kind of am. Because, you know, it kind of go both ways. That you the hands on people, and I stand on that. But at the same time, it's not like nobody went to the hospital. Nobody got that hurt. So this is it's a big deal, but it's you can come back from it. Pretend, oh, I can't come back from it. But that's all an excuse to not take self-responsibility or look at me a certain type of way. So that's all that matter is how people look at you instead of you taking really taking responsibility for what you other than you just saying, yeah, I did it. That ain't enough. Because you make sure other fighters in the UFC, when they committed domestic violence, they got suspended. Things happened to them. They lost money. You're saying nothing should happen to you financially or anything else other than people just labeling you as a woman beater. You still get to make your money, still be in your position. And I'm still trying to, this is what I'm bothered by. We know after him saying the shit and continue to say the shit that he says, right? I'm still trying to figure out why ESPN, this ain't bad publicity. I guess they know so they bases a bunch of women beaters. And the women, okay, are allowing men to beat them or beat other women. So get away with it. Because nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to this man. I gotta live with this for the rest of my life. Listen, I gotta live with the rest of my life of being a drug dealer too. Used to be a drug dealer too. It ain't stopping from being a good fuck. It ain't stopping me from helping others and doing right to make up for all the fucked up shit that I did. But it was consequences. Shit. A lot of fuck shit. I got arrested. Got my ass whipped, got beat up. All types of fuck shit. That comes with doing fuck shit. Being a part of that lifestyle. Shit comes with that. This man is telling you nothing bad happened to him. Because if anything bad happened to him, if I go away, it just affect the others. Listen, bro, that fight would have been a thing without you, Dana White. And this is why I can't fuck with ESPN no more, because now I know for a fact that you are okay with domestic violence. This man did some fuck shit. You suspended Stephen A. Smith for just saying, hey, you know what? And I'm not here to defend Stephen A. Smith, but you suspended Stephen A. Smith. All he said was, hey, and at the same time, women shouldn't put their hands on men. He got suspended. Nothing is happening to Dana White. Nothing. And he actually smacked the shit out of his wife. Regardless if she smacked him or not. He still put his hands on her. So basically what you're telling me, woman put her hands on a man, he got a right to fuck her up. He got a right to hit her ass back. That is not what y'all said it was. That's not what your analysts come out and say. The Molly and everybody else on ESPN or Stephen A. Smith come out, shouldn't put your hands on a woman. That's not what you're saying. It's not what you represent. So now I'm as a person outside looking in, as I don't watch ESPN anyway, but you're telling me that it's okay if a woman hits you, you can hit her back, right? And everything should be good. Let me tell you what actually was supposed to happen in reality by law, right? It don't happen all the time, but it rarely happens, but it does happen. If a woman hits that man and that man hits that woman, they both go to jail. That's the reality. But what you telling me, because she hit him, nothing happens, and he hit her back, and nothing happens. That's what you telling me. So, listen. Any UFC fighter get into some type of issue with their woman, and they woman put their hands on them, and you smack the shit out of her, or you fuck her up real bad, or wherever it goes, everybody should be okay with it. And that's real talk. Like, we not gonna play these games, try to pretend that's not what they saying, because that's what ESPN is saying and the UFC is saying. That's what Stephen A. Smith is saying. We're not gonna play these stupid games no more. Anyway, let's move on.
Whatever steps you have to take to make sure that you're never in that situation and that never happens again, that's what I need to do. And it's a fact. I mean, there's a couple things in life that you don't bounce back from, and this is one of them. That's a fact.
Dan, thank you for coming.
He's saying that you don't bounce back from, but you still out here talking. You still got your. So how you not bouncing back from it? That doesn't even make any sense of what you're talking about. Why are you not gone? How you not bouncing back from this? First of all, you ain't even bouncing back from it. You did what you did, and it's okay. ESPN said it's okay. The UFC said it's okay. Everything's okay. And why is CNN and Fox News and all the mainstream media is not out here ridiculing him like they supposed to? Because connections. That's why. He's what important. It's like the Trump shit, man. The motherfucker can make you money. You're not getting rid of that motherfucker. Just be honest about it. And stop pretending that you got morals. You don't have morals. Because if that talks, bullshit walks. That's the old saying, people. Money talks and bullshit walks. I learned that at a young age from my elders. And these motherfuckers sitting here proving what my elders told me at a young age. Money talks and bullshit walks. This man I guess he bring that much money in or whatever. He's so powerful that, hey, nothing happens to him. Dana White shouldn't have even did this interview. Dana White should have been out of the UFC, or he'd been at least gone for at least 2 years. No, but I listen. There's no reason for us to see Dana White. I know this for a fact. He has banned fighters forever fighting in the UFC. But then it doesn't mean anything because Greg Hardy beat the dog shit out of this woman in the NFL, and he let Greg Hardy fight in the UFC. So from right there, I already knew it was bullshit. People, I'm not saying you don't give people second chances and shit like that. I'm not saying that. But what Dana White proved to me that he's okay with domestic violence. If you are more important, if he feels that you're more important than the sport. Because he has done it already. So I'm not shocked. I'm just appalled that this motherfucker's sitting out here and people are allowing him to get away with this shit. That's what I'm appalled by. I'm not shocked. I'm just appalled. Like, really? And do you motherfuckers want to start talking down on other athletes and other people and give your opinions about shit, but you don't want to hold this dude accountable? You still continue to support the UFC and ESPN. Everybody should be dropping their subscribes to the ESPN, whatever that may be, or shouldn't be watching that shit no more, man. This shit ain't right. This man is basically telling you, I'm getting away with it, and what you gonna do about it? He's daring you to say, you know what? He's daring you. You ain't gonna stop watching what we do. You ain't gonna stop watching the ESPN. You ain't gonna stop watching the UFC. You ain't gonna do it. I dare you. You ain't gonna stop watching football. Monday night, I guess, is it Monday Night Football they got over there? Because I ain't watching it in a minute. But Monday Night Football and all that shit over there. Nigga, listen, I don't want to do no business or fuck with anything over in ESPN. Anything to do with ESPN, I'm not fucking with it. And that's a fact. And I need people to take a stand on that. This ain't about culture. This is about holding this guy accountable. Because it seems like the motherfuckers that we thought that was going to hold him accountable is not holding him accountable. So yeah, now we got to push the envelope. Now we got to push we want to say the cancel culture. Yes, now it's time for cancel culture. Because nobody's holding this guy accountable. And if you still are watching these ESPN, UFC, watching the NBA, and I'm boycotting all that shit. I'm not watching no more sports. If you deal with ESPN, I'm not fucking with it regardless. I'm not fucking with basketball, not fucking with none of that shit. I'm not doing it. This dude got to go. And push this video and tell everybody what I'm saying. Listen, I'm not watching none of that shit no more. If anybody got anything to do with ESPN, I'm not fucking with it. At all. And I know basketball do it, and I love basketball, but I'm not watching that shit no more. Real talk.
I know it can't be easy to face us all. I want to know if there's going to be any changes going forward with fighters that are in this similar situation. If there's any changes to procedures, or now that you've gone through it, if you're going to have any different take on that.
Well, I don't have a different take on it. I mean, it all depends on different situations. You know what I mean? But hopefully everybody's seen what's going on with me, and hopefully.
He said different situation. So his situation is different. He not part of him is not lying about it, but the other part is it's still domestic violence. You still put your hands on a woman, and you don't think there's any consequences for that? And this is why I say I'm boycotting all that shit. Y'all can ride, y'all don't gotta ride. I don't want to tell nobody what to do. I'm not watching the NBA. I'm not watching the NFL. Well, I don't watch that anyway, but I'm not watching none of that shit no more that deal with ESPN. They are allowing this man to get away with this bullshit. And if you care about domestic violence, if you got a mama, you got sisters, aunts, and shit like that, nieces, girl cousins, listen, this shit should bother you. It's nothing happening to him. He's acting like, hey, ain't nothing gonna happen to me, so what y'all talking about? I'm good. And ESPN saying, okay, this is all good too. This is all good too. Anybody watching ESPN, the UFC or NBA, any sports that deal with that shit, deal with ESPN, then you are part of the problem. You are the reason why this shit continue to keep happening. And this is why this white supremacists get up here and talk that shit. So you're part of the problem. If you fuck with that, then go ahead. I'm not watching no more sports. I'm dead serious about that. Anything got to deal with Ian, I'm not fucking with it. So I think it's all the sports, right? So I'm not watching sports no more. Real talk. Other than Showtime, I think Showtime don't deal with sports and boxing. I'm not fucking with that. I'm not fucking with ESPN. I'm done with it. Anything they gotta do, anything with ESPN, I'm not fucking with it at all. I'm done. NBA, I'm not watching that. I'm not fucking with that. I'm not supporting it at all. At all. You do anything with ESPN, I'm not fucking with you. Only thing I know for sure that don't deal with ESPN is the PBC and Showtime. I know they do their own shit over there. But other than that, I don't fuck with ESPN. It's over. I'm done with it. And like I said, I'm boycotting that shit, and I'm pushing that to everybody. Listen, everybody ain't got to do what I'm saying to do, but like I said, if you got moral compass, you know this shit is wrong. This dude is sitting here, Dana White is sitting here, ain't nothing gonna happen to him. He know ain't nothing happening to him because he been behind the scenes talking to him. He's telling you what he probably was telling them. Hey man, the sport can't be bigger than me if I leave. That's what he's saying. He said, well, what y'all want me to do? Like, you know, I'll be hurting the fighters. No, you wouldn't. You can go, bro. What he threatened them was that I'll make sure that I'll make sure I go out here and make accusations that y'all got rid of me on some fuck shit. I got the right wing. I got the racist people behind me. Anyway, let's move on.
Hopefully this never happens, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes, and you know, all you can do is try to recover from the mistakes that you make in life. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll be on a case by case basis. I mean, we got a lot of people around here that make a lot of mistakes, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, but listen. That's not what he said, though. In the beginning, when he was sending out concerts and ridiculing these fighters, he said all that shit, domestic violence is bad. Now that it got to deal with him, it's different. It's different. Now domestic violence is different. They weren't talking like, now they talking like us now. Because it was like, yeah, domestic violence is different. I told y'all that. And I told y'all about women putting their hands on men. That is, listen, And you gotta understand, you dealing with certain men. Listen, this dude, you got to be kidding me, man. Let's move on, man. Let's just get this shit over with. I'm so highly disappointed in people in this country. Ain't no outrage more than I feel like ain't nobody that as outrageous as me about this. Nobody is making this dude, but nobody's holding this dude accountable. You see people just moving on from it. It's not the move on. Even YouTubers, they moving on. It's not the move on from this. This dude, he did an interview of basically telling you, I do what the fuck I want to. Ain't no consequences with me. I make up the rules. I tell you what's serious and what ain't serious of domestic violence. I could put my hands on my wife because you know what? She put her hands on me. But that wasn't his shit from the beginning. Y'all allowing it. And like I said, if y'all are still out here supporting ESPN, the UFC, then you okay with domestic violence. I'm not playing this game with none of y'all no more. They're allowing him to get away with it, then you are allowing him to get away with it. Well, you know, there's other things going on with it. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here. I ain't watching none of that
Thank
shit.
you. Yep.
Dana, just one. Other than everything we can see, is there any damage financially, talking any sponsor or anything financially, any damage for the company?
No, I don't think I don't think so. But you know, still early too, so we'll see. Done with me? Have a great day. Thanks.
Nothing. It's nothing there. Even the report, they were sitting there throwing softball questions. They wasn't asking them, hey man, how you gonna sit there and all the shit that you were saying about them fighters and you disciplined them fighters? Why are you not holding yourself at the same standards? The reporters ain't even do that. I'm done, bro. I'm done. I ain't listen. Like I said, this year I ain't allowing none of y'all, and I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm not allowing nobody to sit and act like this shit is okay. This type of shit is not okay. I don't give a fuck how cool we are, nigga. If you support that shit, I'm not fucking with you, man, like that. You're allowing this dude to get away with this shit in front of our eyes. He's blatantly in our eyes, in our face, telling us, hey, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'm Dana White. I'm Dana motherfucking White. And ain't nothing gonna happen. What are you gonna do? And you niggas will sit there and keep supporting ESPN. Listen, I won't watch none of that shit. You know what? Listen, I ain't gonna tell y'all what to do. I'm just gonna tell y'all what I ain't gonna do. I ain't watching no more sports as long as this anything connected to ESPN, I'm not fucking with it. I'm not fucking with it. I don't give a fuck what sport it is. I'm not watching none of that shit. And shout out to my brother Talking and Grubbing. We ain't doing no more. Because we got some shows coming. I'm not doing that shit no more, bro. This dude got to go, man. Ain't no motherfucking way you tell me this is okay. It's not okay, bro. And like I said, I'm trying to hold people accountable. I'm not in this shit. Y'all sit there and y'all act like, oh, well, you know, that's just that person. No, bro. That's the whole system. ESPN basically said, we ain't gonna do nothing. Hey, it's Dana White. Anyway, let's get out of here, man. Leave your comments. Hit that like button. Support your boy. It's your boy, Mr. OBF. Peace and love to the world.